Hey guys, it's Amber from amberrochelle.com, and today I want to talk to you about feeling your feelings. So this is a topic that has been coming up for me a lot lately, and you know what my mentor Gabrielle Bernstein always says is you teach what you most need to learn. So let's go. So what tends to happen to highly sensitive people when we're children is that, we are experiencing everything on overdrive, right? And I always like to refer to it as it feels like the volume on life is just turned up extra loud. And we notice things that other people don't notice because we have the ability to sort of read other people's emotions and really feel deeply what other people are feeling and sense things that other people aren't sensing. What happens is that we can notice subtle discrepancies between what people are saying and what's actually going on, right? Like we pick up on these things. We know when people are lying. We pick up on this stuff and we start to get the feedback that gift that we have, that ability that we have is actually dangerous. Because people don't like it when you call them out on their shit. And people don't like it when you know that they're lying, right? Especially as a child. So we can get that feedback verbally. We can just sense that people don't like that about us. And we go a lot deeper than most people. And that can tend to make people really uncomfortable. And then there's also the fact that, you oftentimes hear, why are you overreacting? Oh my God, it's not that big of a deal. Right? So you keep getting this feedback that not only is your ability to sense things dangerous, but that your feelings are invalid, that you somehow are not feeling things correctly, that you're overreacting, right? And so as a child, we take this feedback and we think that there's something wrong with us. And I know I've talked about this a lot, but it really is the root of a lot of our problems. So we think that there's something wrong with us. And we think that to be liked, to be loved, we really have to start disconnecting from this ability that we have to sense things. And we start to tune out our own feelings. We start to disconnect from our feelings. We start to listen much more to other people's needs and wants than our own needs and wants. And so as we grow up and we get older, we become further and further and further disconnected from our own feelings. And what happens, and the reason that this is a problem, is because our feelings are there for a reason, right? There are guideposts. They're telling you what your soul's desires are. They're telling you when something's wrong and it needs to be fixed. They're telling you when you're too busy and you need to rest. They're telling you all sorts of things. They're there for a reason. They're very important. And when we tune them out and we continue to tune into what other people want and need, we really are living an inauthentic life. We're living for others and not for ourselves. We're living trying to constantly make up for what we feel like is something wrong with us. So what can you do about this? Well, I like to think of it like this. It's like it's a frequency, right? It's a radio station. So you have spent so much time tuning in to other people's stations and turning the volume on your station down very, very low. And it becomes a habit, it becomes very ingrained. And so we don't even think to turn up the volume on our own station anymore. It can feel like we don't even know how to do it. And it can also feel very scary because when you've been pushing your feelings down for years and years and years, it's like there's this big landfill behind you, right? And you can feel like if you even open that door a crack, that it's just gonna wash over you and it's gonna be completely out of control and you're not gonna be able to handle it. But the truth is that feelings need to be felt and they need to come out. Otherwise, they're going to stay back there in that backlog and you're never going to be happy. And so you have to start slowly over time learning how to tune in to your own frequency, the frequency of your radio station, the frequency of your feelings, of your inner guide and your inner voice. So there's a few ways that you can start to do this. First is you have to make quiet time. You have to make time for yourself, alone time. And I know I say this all the time in a lot of my video blogs, but that's because it's important and it works. So you're not going to be able to hear this voice of yourself, of your feelings that's become so quiet over the years. You're not even going to be able to hear that if you don't make room to sit down and really, really listen, because it's going to be super quiet at first. So whether this is just sitting by yourself in your room with nobody else around, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, any vessel that you can find, spending time in nature alone, going on walks, whatever you can do to make space in your busy schedule to just breathe and tune in and start to notice what's coming up for you. And in the beginning, it's going to be really tough because you'll be like, well, is this my feeling or is this somebody else's feeling? I don't know whose feelings these are. Where is this coming from, right? Because you're so not used to even knowing what your own are, and your own are so quiet and everybody else's are so loud. But this is a struggle for all HSPs and empaths, is to figure out, is this mine or not? And you can start by simply asking yourself that question. Is this mine or not? Where is this feeling coming from? Start to dissect the feeling. Start to take it apart. Look back at your day. What happened in your day? When did you start feeling this feeling? What was going on around you? You know, what else is going on with the people in your life around you? Is this something you could have picked up from somebody else? And you know, journaling is a really, really effective method for figuring out if a feeling is yours or not. As you start to free write, clues start to pop up. The more that you let the pen just flow across the page, I promise you, you are going to start to be able to pick this apart and notice, oh, wait a minute. You know, my mom was really anxious today. And when I left her house, I felt super anxious too. And that feeling hasn't left all day. So that's not your anxiety. That's hers. But the main thing is that you want to start to notice your own feelings. So I like to set an alarm on my phone for several times a day where I just do a check-in. How am I feeling right now? Like really, like what am I feeling? You can start with the physical. Okay, well, I feel anxious. Like I feel like there's butterflies in my stomach. I feel, you know, maybe there's knots in your stomach, whatever it is. And then you start to go underneath that. Okay, well, what's underneath? Where's that feeling coming from in my heart? Where's, you know, what's the emotional feeling underneath that physical feeling? And start to kind of tap in. Because the more that you do this, the more that you're going to start to build that muscle and essentially turn up the volume on your own station. But it's going to take practice and it's going to take time because over the years you've been so tuned in to everybody else. So this is something that's not going to change overnight, but something that you need to make a continual practice. And I really am doing this video blog, of course, for you guys, but also because this is something that I need to remind myself. Because I've been noticing lately that I've been really tuned out of my own station. And what I find is that the less I listen to myself, the more chaotic my life becomes. And that's because I'm not living by my own terms. I'm living by what I think everybody else would want me to do, or you know, what other people need or want, but it's not coming from a heart-centered place. And your life is never going to be truly balanced and feel really authentic and true to you unless you are listening to your own station. So I hope that these tips were helpful for you. I would love to go along this journey with you. Please come find me on my Facebook page, shoot me an email, let me know how this is going for you. We're in it together. I'm right there with you. And you know, this is just something that sometimes you need to remind yourself to get back into a practice with. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I just invite you to be really gentle with yourself and to take it one step at a time and really trust your feelings because they're there for a reason. They're safe to feel. And the more that you allow them to come up, the quicker they will pass. So thank you so much for listening today. Like I said, please come find me on my Facebook page or join me in my amazing Facebook group, The Super Sensitives. I'll post all of those links below. Have a beautiful week. I love you all. Thank you.